Here's something that might surprise you. Modern commercial aircraft can land themselves with more precision than human pilots, making split-second decisions based on thousands of data points per second. It's like having a supercomputer perform a high-stakes ballet at 150 miles per hour.
That's fascinating. And you know what really gets me? Most passengers have no idea when they're experiencing an Autoland. They just assume there's a pilot manually controlling everything.
Well, let me break down how incredibly precise this system is. At 350 feet above the ground, if the plane's alignment is off by even 5 degrees from the runway centerline, the whole landing gets scrapped. It's that uncompromising.
Hmm. So, what happens if the system detects something isn't perfect? Do they have to start the approach all over again?
Actually, that's where it gets interesting. The pilots have two options. Either perform a go-around, which means climbing back up and trying again, or if they can clearly see the runway, they can take over manually. But here's the thing. At 40 feet above the ground, there's this crucial moment called the flare, where the nose pitches up slightly.
I've always wondered about what happens right after touchdown. That moment when you feel the plane really slowing down hard.
Oh man, that's when things get really technical. The pilots have to immediately engage reverse thrust after touchdown, but, and this is crucial, they have to be incredibly careful about how they use it. Too much reverse thrust at low speeds can actually cause the engines to stall or suffer damage.
Well, that explains why landings on snowy runways feel different. I've noticed the deceleration isn't as aggressive.
Exactly right. On snow-covered runways, they have to stow the thrust reversers at exactly 25 knots, not a moment sooner or later. But what's really mind-blowing is how these systems are categorized. There are three levels, Cat 1, 2, and 3, each designed for progressively worse visibility conditions.
So these different categories must have different backup systems, right?
Absolutely fascinating stuff. They have what's called fail operational and fail passive systems. Think of fail operational as having triple redundancy. If something goes wrong, the remaining systems can still complete the landing. Fail passive is more like having a really smart co-pilot who hands control back to the humans if there's an issue.
That level of redundancy must be why commercial aviation has become so incredibly safe.
You know what's really cool? The system monitors speed with incredible precision. If you go below the approach speed minus 5 knots or above it plus 10 knots, it triggers immediate warnings. Same for bank angles over 7 degrees or descent rates above 1,000 feet per minute.
Like having the world's most perfectionist flight instructor watching your every move.
Um, exactly. And here's something most people don't realize. In some cases, an automatic landing actually requires more runway length than a manual one. The system is programmed to be more conservative, using different calculation methods with built-in safety margins.
That really shows how they prioritize safety over everything else.
And the technology keeps evolving. The latest systems can account for things like runway surface conditions, wind shear, and wake turbulence from other aircraft. It's like each new generation has learned from millions of previous landings.
So, with all this automation, why do we still need pilots?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. The pilots are absolutely crucial. They're not just monitoring the systems, they're actively involved in every phase of the landing. They need to understand not just how to operate the system, but also how to recognize when something isn't quite right and take over immediately if needed.
Sounds like the perfect blend of human expertise and advanced technology.
You know what's really exciting? We're probably just seeing the beginning of what's possible. Future systems might be able to handle even more challenging conditions or emergency situations we haven't even thought of yet. But for now, every time you feel that smooth touchdown, remember you're experiencing one of aviation's greatest achievements, the perfect marriage of human skill and technological precision.